Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. I am Jason. As always, my co-host, Mr. Zack Partridge in the house.
What up?
What up, man? So we're changing things up a little bit. We're giving a little shout out to sponsors now at the beginning of our podcast. And who we got sponsoring this podcast, Mr. Partridge?
We're going to do this podcast is brought to you by Big O Tires in Salt Lake City. My guy Tyler Nickel, he runs Big O Tires down in Salt Lake on right off that 1300 South exit. It's like 924 South and 300 West. Go check him out. I just bought new tires and brakes from him yesterday for my F-150. Treats you like family. It's always nice to have a tire place that and car guys that you know are going to treat you right and take care of you. And that's what Tyler does. They treat everybody like family. I mean, this is a true story about Tyler. There's a Big O Tires here in Kaysville. And not to dog on them, but the guy's customer service kind of sucked. That pissed me off. Yeah. So we went to the Bountiful one, and Tyler took care of my wife's car like no problem. Like he just took care of it the right way. Yeah. And he just said, all I ask is that when it's time to buy new tires, you come to me. And I said, okay. And I literally have a Big O Tires 4 minutes from my house, and I would drive 15 minutes to his Bountiful store just to see him. And now he's the manager of their Big Salt Lake store. And so now I drive all the way down to Salt Lake from Kaysville to Salt Lake to go see him. And because his customer service is that good and he always treats people right. So I'm going to give a big shout out to Tyler, my guy, Tyler Nickel, who sponsors me for my fights. And he always takes care of me and my wife's cars.
Shout out to Tyler and Big O Tires.
Yeah.
And I know he's a fellow Kernstown fellow.
Yeah. Yeah. I keep trying to get him to come train with me, but he don't want to.
He doesn't want to do it.
He doesn't want the smoke. It would hurt his, I keep telling him it's going to hurt his reputation to get beat up by a white boy from Davis High.
It might. It might.
You can't come back. If you're from Kearns, now ready? You grew up in Kearns, right? Did you go to Kearns High School?
Yeah, I went to Kearns High. Yeah.
If you went to Kearns High and back in high school and then found out one of your buddies got beat up from a kid from Davis High, he'd never hear the end of it.
No, we're probably all going up there and fighting. It was the running thing, and when I was in high school was like, hey, we may lose on the football field, but we're going to win in the parking lot. We're going to win in the parking lot. That's just the way it was.
You're going to win the fight after.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy. Hey, before we get started, I got to give a special shout out to my grandmother who was celebrating her 83rd birthday yesterday. But as you know, it's not official until we say it on the Damage Plan MMA podcast. So happy birthday to my grandma in Michigan.
Happy birthday, Jason's grandma.
Who listens to this religiously every episode. I called her and told her I got her one of Aleko's fight shirts to wear. Thrilled. She was thrilled. So
it's so awesome. Also go check out the links. It's on me and Jason's Facebook page to our website. You can now buy our Damage Plan hats and shirts again online, get it shipped straight to you 2 to 5 business days. Choke dealer shirts on there. Do Damage USA flag shirts are on there. Bunch of other cool stuff.
Hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the website on here so that people can see it. How about that?
Money.
It is, because it's a little different. So we're in between of fixing our main website. So this is just for our apparel. It's going to all link together eventually, but we're in the process of
putting it all together,
making our big website a little more professional.
We got big plans.
It's coming. We had a video guy come in and do some video of you doing your commentary and me mixing around, mingling.
The promo video.
Wait till you guys see the promo video.
So good.
All right. So website is, I'm going to put this on while you're Damage dash. Sorry guys, we're getting this up here for you so you can see it. And just so you know, the apparel, like all the other apparel you guys have bought from us before, high quality. This isn't just some garbage t-shirt you're only going to wear one time or garbage hoodie that you're only going to wear one time. This is high quality.
For sure.
Apparel. Sale.com. All right. Add banner. How's that? Boom. There you go. There's the website.
Dang.
Made to order, baby.
Like that.
How's training camp going, Zack?
Oh, we're good.
You good? Feeling good?
Oh, big announcement. If y'all didn't miss it, head kicks for amateurs in Utah, baby. Boom, boom. I'd like to think that I had a little part of that. I went before the commission and pled our case last year.
You did. I
so
remember.
Maybe just a little part. I'd probably bigger shout out probably to Kevin and Patton for
Scott.
Scott Bowler for getting it done. Troy Walker, everybody on the athletic commission.
It's awesome.
That's dude.
Sounds like
so overdue.
I have not heard of any opposition to that rule. Like, I don't think anybody's complaining.
No.
I mean, it makes sense.
We all want it.
I mean, yeah.
Start kicking people in the freaking noggin, bro.
Oh man. I was
and they laxed up on the marijuana rules.
Which good, really good on that one.
Which is a good thing too. Like people people have a medical card and they have a medical need for it. And as long as they're not high while they're fighting, like, dude, we all good in the hood now.
It's the way it should be.
I
mean, if it's legal, it's like, come on.
So a little bit of research on that because people are like, how much and stuff. Pretty much they're saying like you have to literally be like chain smoking bud, like all day, the fight day to fail the test, right?
Which we know a couple guys that might.
We know a couple guys, right? But you have to do it a lot. And remember how we kind of ragged on the fighters that got suspended for weed?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second. So they failing the day of test for weed, so they're like smoking weed like the day of the fight. I'm like, you know what? If that's the case, maybe don't smoke weed the day of the fight. I don't know. I don't feel like that's a huge sacrifice.
No, I mean, I don't think it would be a huge sacrifice.
I'm not saying like, hey, don't smoke weed at all if you're within the limits, but it's like if the only way you really pop is like the day of the fight is because like you're like literally like smoking it all day, and then I'm like, hey bro, maybe you're about to fight you're about to go to work, like maybe don't get high on your way to work. I don't know.
And if you're in training camp, I don't know how somebody would go through a whole camp. Like I could see as like a recovery tool, like, hey, you need some help going to sleep.
A little bit.
Like, hey,
a little bit here, there.
I do it, but I couldn't sit there and just smoke all day and train. And I don't know how you could fight at an elite level doing that all day.
Nope.
I mean, and there might be some guys out there doing it, and if they're props to you, but
Nick and Nate Diaz.
Yeah. And they do it at a high level. So I'm not knocking him for it at all.
Is Nick Diaz still high level?
Well, neither one of them are high level.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. You
know how I feel about that.
They both would beat my, you know what? It's a joke. It's a joke, folks. Don't get angry. Hey, kind of a sneaky, weird announcement. Alan Joban retires.
It is a little, yeah.
But he's old. That's the other thing. I look at him and he looked great. I never realized he was that old. He's like 39 years old.
Is he that old?
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was that old.
It was really interesting. Exactly. You don't think about it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. You know what? I listened to his interview on Ariel's show.
Yeah.
Because he announced it Monday. And he was on the broadcast table, right? He's been doing all the broadcasting.
Yeah.
And he said, and what was really interesting is he said it was the Cowboy fight that put the nail in the coffin to made him realize that he was done.
Really?
Because he said when Cowboy got hurt, he had that, oh, bleep this. I don't want to do this right now. Like he just kind of covered up and got punched out, right? And he just kind of that dog to fight back wasn't in him anymore. He said it broke my heart, and then I realized it broke my heart because he goes, in sparring sessions now, like when I'm done, I just kind of cover up instead of bite down on my mouthpiece and like go back. Like it's just not that isn't in me anymore.
Well, at least he recognizes it.
I thought it was for anybody who doesn't know, go YouTube it. The interview's on YouTube. I listened to it this morning and it was really fascinating because I don't think a lot of people have that type of perspective on their way out. And when the door's closing and you know, it's time to exit stage left, a la Diego Sanchez and Cowboy, And, you know, those guys, and Alan Jouban goes, you know, he sees it in these fighters. And then Ariel asked a great question. I don't love to give Ariel a ton of credit, but he did ask a great question. And he said, so if Cowboy wins, do you think you retire? And he said, that's a great question. Probably not. If Cowboy would have came out and like thrown a head kick and knocked Morado out,
he wouldn't retire.
Then I don't think Jouban retires. You know what I mean? Like it was really interesting.
It would be hard to, that would be really hard to do something you're pretty much your whole adult life. You've been training and fighting, and then just one day it's just not there anymore.
Too many guys make it their identity.
Yeah.
It's who they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like I look at it like I'm a fighter. Yes. But like I even say it like I'm probably a bigger fan than I am a fighter. And I mean, sometimes like when I'm in camp, I don't feel that way as much necessarily.
Yeah.
Because I do get focused on my fight, but first and foremost, I'm a husband and father. Like, that's never going away. So it's like, but I also do know, like, whenever it's time to be done, like, even if it's just amateur and I never even make it pro, like, that sucks. That even the thought of it it sucks.
Well, the competitor in you is going to want to do something. You're going to want to find something.
Yeah. Speaking of guys that are retired, shout out Diego Sanchez for kicking Josh Fabian to the curb.
I love it. Finally. What do you think clicked? Do you think he just finally was just...
I just think he saw everybody in the world and anybody and everybody that's ever cared about him being like, bro.
All these UFC fighters.
Dude, Rashad Evans,
peers,
John Jones, Donald Cerrone, who even made fun of him. But like everybody was like, dude, this sucks. Like, this is sad.
I mean, I could see.
I'm sure Winkle, John Jackson Wink. Like, I'm sure anybody that's ever cared about this guy, anybody was just like, dude, this guy is not your friend and he is not looking out for your best interest.
Yeah.
And I think that the writing came on the wall finally when he realized the guy's angle was to be his manager and be his everything. And then the angle was to eventually sue the UFC for millions for putting him in there with early signs of CTE and all that. Because the writing was like Rashad Evans painted the perfect picture where he was like, dude, you're making it so obvious that your angle is to sue the UFC after he retires.
Yeah. He had power of attorney. I thought I read on Twitter that Joshua Fabi, that he had power of attorney, could sign, like, that's
sketchy.
Hey, good for Diego Sanchez to see that. I would like to think that if I was doing something wrong, and if, you know, obviously I respect your opinion. If you're to like Jason, hey man, like this might not be such a good idea, I'm going to respect that. Yeah. Now, if it was my wife, I might be like, no way. You don't know what you're talking about, woman. She's not listening, so she's not going to yell at me. Hey, speaking of our wives, we got a trip coming up.
Yeah, we're gonna
talk about it. Can we talk?
Sure.
About it?
Yeah, we had a title fight. We're gonna have a title fight in July, and then we're gonna go and both of us celebrate our anniversaries in Mexico.
It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be a fun trip. So fun. Be a great trip. Should we walk down the street in Mexico and see if anybody messes with us, so I can see you choke somebody out?
Dude, I'm not getting any fights in Mexico.
Oh, Hillary. Oh, Hillary's going to drop a dime on me.
Oh,
I was just joking, Hillary.
She's already texted Sheree.
She's texted Sheree. Oh, man. Yeah, so it's props to Diego Sanchez. So before we get done and break down this card, one of the other things we wanted to talk about was the lightweight division and how this plays out.
Man, it's freaking weird. It's so crazy. You have Michael Chandler, who thinks he's one fight away from getting back into the title picture, which isn't entirely out of the realm of possibility. You have Benelli Dariush, who is calling out. He moved up to number 3 now.
Which is, that's a big
jump. But you know what?
He deserves it, I think.
You know what? Benelli Dariush and Charles Oliveira were supposed to fight. Oliveira pulls out for family reasons and then fights Tony Ferguson like within a couple of weeks of when they were supposed to fight.
Interesting. And
Benelli's like, dude, you owe me this fight. And you know what? I mean, not that I think that Dariush beats Oliveira, but dude,
you have to think.
Let's see. Connor and Dustin fight in what, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Yep, that's coming up next month or July. Is that July?
Yeah. Oh, it is July, huh?
It's in July.
10th?
Yeah.
July 10th.
So like a month.
So 8 weeks, right? 6, 7, 8 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, why don't you just book Oliveira and Dariush right now and then let Connor and Poirier fight the winner of Dariush Oliveira, who I still think it's Oliveira, but like, let's get some activity going. Like, Khabib wasn't the most active guy in the world.
We need to get Gaethje a fight. What needs to happen?
Michael Chandler. Like, what are we waiting for?
Make.
Like, what are we waiting for? Everybody in the world wants to see it. What are we waiting for?
And if
and then
Justin,
the winner puts that right back in the front of the line.
How is Tony Ferguson still in the top 10? I mean, 3 fights. He's been dominating 3 fights in a row. It's like, and now he tweets that he's mad. Now he's mad.
Okay.
Now he's mad.
No.
Just are they?
Let me. So I know you don't love.
Am I being a little rude? Am I being a little rude that he still should be in the top 10?
No, but he does get a little bit of a pass in some respect. Maybe, he didn't get the title shot that he ever deserved.
I will say that he got screwed on that. He got screwed hard on that.
But maybe on the back end, they're just giving him respect a little bit longer than he should. And I will also say this. He is the one guy that's not turning down fights. Nobody wanted to fight Charles Oliveira. He fought him. Nobody wanted to fight. Nobody with a number. So nobody with a high number was willing to fight Oliveira. He did it.
Yeah.
Gave him the opportunity to get the leg up. He got the title shot. Nobody with a high number wanted to fight Benelli Dariush. He did it. And gave him the opportunity to get up. There's something to be respected about that. I think there's like something for that. Like,
it's fair.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What's he going to fight? Islam next? That nobody wants to fight him.
Isn't he scheduled? Islam's scheduled to fight
Thiago Moises. But what I'm saying is nobody above him will fight him. Paul Felder won't fight him. RDA turned down the fight with him. Like, all those guys are turning down those guys. So the lightweight division is so scary that those like 8 to 15 guys are so scary. The risk reward isn't worth it. And they're just saying no to all those. They're just saying, nope. I want to fight a guy above me. Because they all know that every single one of them is dangerous and can beat them. And Tony's the only guy that's like, I'll fight the guy with a number that's below me. I'll fight the guy I think that deserves some respect. And that's I think fair. The number by his name is him getting that respect.
So is Tony kind of like the gatekeeper now into that top 10? You see these guys like maybe like a Drew Dober or a Diego Ferreira, Gregor Gillespie. Could you see these guys getting lined up with him to maybe that's their fight to break up to that next level?
You can't feed him to all those guys. I mean, he's got one more. He's got one more. He's going to get fed one more guy below him, and then he's going to get probably beat for another 3 rounds. Hopefully, Tony should be taking some time off. His ACL's gone. I know it hasn't been reported yet, but
him and Hooker?
Ferguson and Hooker?
Yeah.
You're a dick.
I mean, anybody I list in that thing, you're going to say Felder?
Drew Dober. Felder would be good. Sure, let him do Felder. Felder at least stand with him.
Well, Hooker would stand with him too, but he just probably piece him up.
I don't like
Felder that. Would be interesting, but how serious is Felder these days? Like, is he trying
he just wants big names. That's all he wants. And he said it. He goes, if it's somebody that can get me like up into the title mix, like, yeah, I'll do it. I actually see, me personally, if Conor loses and Nate Diaz isn't an option, that's the fight for me for Conor.
Felder?
It's Felder. Well, yeah, they'll both just stand. They'll just stand and.
I think we're going to have some clarity here pretty soon. Hopefully. It's got to be Gaethje and Chandler, though. Who do you like in that one?
I don't know. I think I would Gaethje.
I like Gaethje.
I think I still like Gaethje there. But you got to remember this too. Oliveira is a monster, right?
He's a monster.
There's only one completed round in that fight, and Chandler won that round. I mean, two judges were drunker than drunk, giving Chandler. Two judges gave Chandler a 10-8 round. I don't know if people realize that, but that is ridiculous. Absurd. But I mean, he won the round. Even if it's 10-8, he won the round. So the only full round that they fought, he actually won the round, which in essence tells me that Michael Chandler is every bit belongs to be there in that mix.
I think he belongs in there. And after that performance, I posted something in our group. I wasn't much of a fan, but the way he's handled himself afterwards and even before, I'm impressed, man. I will say, I'm going to go on record and say it. I don't know if he beats anybody in the top 5.
I think him and Connor is a very interesting fight.
I think it's interesting.
I think him and Gaethje's a very, very interesting fight.
I like the matchups. I just don't think he beats those guys for some reason. Can I just he's small, in my opinion, for that division.
I have a question for you.
What?
How long do you think Oliveira is the champion at 155?
That's a good question. That's a damn good question, because honestly, looking at the rankings right now, I don't see anybody beating him. Unless he gets lazy now that he's reached the top, which I don't see coming. He's at his peak right now. I mean, you can't argue that he's.
I really do believe this. Oliveira, Poirier, Chandler, Gaethje. I will throw Connor in there.
Okay. I mean,
and I will throw Dariush in there. I think
Dariush would be a problem. I think more of a problem than anybody.
I think all 6 of those guys could beat each other on any given night. And so I think the odds that Oliveira has this era and this run, I think are pretty much slim to none.
I don't hate it, but I just think he's at his peak. I think he's slightly above those guys.
Ready for this though?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Who holds the record for the most lightweight title defenses?
Is it, I don't know right off the top of my head.
It's Khabib with 3.
He could beat that. I think he could beat it.
I don't think he does.
I think the hardest fight for him, and then out of that top 5, out of the top 5 guys right now, the hardest fight for him, I think, is to be Dariush. Because of his strength and his size. But I think Oliveira's stand-up is obviously, I just think he's at an elite level right now. What's going to be interesting and throw a huge wrench in everything is if Connor beats Poirier in the rematch. I mean,
all hell breaks loose.
You got it. I mean, you got to put
right
Connor and Oliveira in for a title. Oh, huge.
And you ready for this?
What?
I think there's a chance that Connor doesn't even do it.
Connor goes,
Oliveira is not a big enough draw. Hey, Jorge Masvidal, let's go do the BMF title thing. Do you know what I mean?
Didn't Connor, he just came out on the Forbes list. He's the highest paid athlete, right?
Yep.
You got to respect this guy for being the highest paid athlete in sports right now. And he's still out there doing it at a high level.
All good in the hood. Okay, I just want to point this out though. The history of the 155 division. Jens Pulver defended it twice, and then he was the first 155 champ, was Jens Pulver.
Okay.
Defended it twice, left. Okay. Then BJ Penn and Kao Uno had a split draw, and it was vacant for years. And then Sean Shirk was the champ. And then BJ was the champ with 3 defenses. Then Frankie Edgar beat him, 3 title defenses. Benson Henderson, 3 title defenses. Pettis, 1. RDA, 1 title defense. Eddie Alvarez never successfully defended it. Connor never successfully defended it. Khabib defended it 3 times, and now Oliveira. Nobody has ever defended it more than 3 times. The reason being, that division is so freaking loaded all the time. You are not winning 4 fights in a row unless your name's Khabib. At that level, Khabib's the only one that could have ran that if he wanted to.
I think Oliveira has a chance.
Nope.
I think he does.
I don't believe it. And not because he doesn't have the skill set or he can't beat any of those guys. He is a stylistic matchup for all those guys. But you just said you don't think you're not sure if Michael Chandler beats any of those guys that any other guys right there, right?
Yeah.
We just watched him beat Oliveira in a round.
But he didn't win though.
No. But he almost finished him. So he almost finished him.
Only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, Zach. Does not count in a fight.
Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. He almost finished him, but so you're saying the worst guy in all that in that whole list almost finished the now champ, and now you're saying nobody beats him in 4 fights? He goes through. So let's just say in no particular order. Let's just say in no particular order. You think he beats Poirier, Gaethje? Mm-hmm. You think he beats back to back like 4 times? Poirier, Gaethje. Let's maybe say Dariush is in that mix, and Islam.
Are we giving Islam the credit right now?
I'm saying by those 3 fights, Islam could be up there in the top 4.
I gotta see more from him though.
He wins 2 more fights. He beats Thiago Moises, beats 1 guy ahead of him. He's right there.
I've been that impressed with Oliveira the last 3 or 4 fights. He's on an incredible run, dude. He's killing it. But again, like you still have Dos Anjos too in the mix too. He looked good his last fight.
Oliveira's last win was over Kevin Lee, right? No, Tony Ferguson. So Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee, right? Tony Ferguson, who we know is on his way out, and Kevin Lee, who like he wasn't in that mix.
I mean, he was at the time. He was top 10 at that time, wasn't he?
Oh, I'm just saying, Oliveira is the best one right now. But I think I like Poirier over Oliveira. I think Poirier beats him.
I don't think so.
Michael Chandler almost put him away. I think Poirier knocks out Oliveira.
Come on.
Yeah.
He gets pieced
Chandler. No, he doesn't.
I'm just
saying the lightweight division is so crazy right now.
I don't hate nuts. I don't hate what you're saying. I just want to see some fights. Let's just get these guys in there. Can we just do it all in one night? Just freaking line them all up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, if Poirier and Conor are busy, and let's get Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje busy, and then dude, fine. Let Dariush and Oliveira fight then. Or I guess Dariush he wants to be a dad.
To take the year off.
Okay, well then he screwed himself there. But whatever. But like let's get all these guys matched up and like let's shake this thing out, man.
All right, one more quick thing. We've been talking for 30 minutes. We haven't talked about fights at all for the breakdown. But okay. How stupid do you have to be to try to break into Derek Lewis's car? Did you see the freaking guy?
His face was swollen. What are the odds, though? Right? Like, yeah. You're like, hey, I'm gonna
go rob this car.
That's a nice car. I'm gonna go rob this car. Like, I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm like, that's a nice car. I'm gonna go rob this car. And it's like Rudy Gobert's car.
Yeah.
That's like the equivalent of it, right? But he's in Houston, Texas, bro. Dude, odds are, if there's a big giant SUV, there's a good chance it belongs to a giant black monster like Derek Lewis in Texas. Derek Lewis, like, there are big, strong men all over Texas. Like, Texas, there's a reason why there's like motto is don't mess with Texas.
Yeah.
Like, you dummy. And then he just had the unfortunate, that it wasn't just some big, giant human being, just any big giant, the number 1 contender for the UFC heavyweight title. He's lucky Derek Lewis didn't murder him.
I would have loved to have been there to see the look on that guy's face when Derek Lewis came up to him.
Hey, grabs him, just slams him against the car, right hand, boom.
Poor guy.
He was knocked out when the cops showed up. They didn't report it, but he for sure was.
Yeah. Derek's like, hey, just don't put that in the news. I wish somebody would have got video of it.
How? It's
Derek Lewis should have put it. Derek should have just went live and just
like
the confrontation.
Mother, he's here breaking in my car. All right.
We got some Bellator fights tonight and LFA. Chris Cyborg's headlining tonight. Bellator.
Yeah.
What do you know about Leslie Smith?
She's good. Leslie Smith's good.
Is she
No, she's not going to win.
He's not gonna, what's the odds on this? Is she like freaking like
minus 5,000? No.
Can't be that much, is it? Let's pull it up real quick and see who else is on the card. Do you see anybody else on there that's
interesting? Nope.
Yeah. What about LFA? Anybody on there?
Oh, Nick Clem is fighting on LFA, and he's been in a steel fist cage.
Oh yeah, is he really fighting LFA? Do you guys think?
Yeah.
The guy was a fan and was like, "Bro, are you doing this?" No, I think he was shitting his pants.
Oh gosh. Cyborg is minus 2,200.
Minus 2,200. Wow.
Oh, Austin
Vanderford's fighting on there. Yeah,
that dude.
Undefeated. Fabian Edwards is only 9-1. I don't know anything about him, but
my money's on Austin Vanderford. The guy's a monster.
He is a monster. That Valerie Lareda's on there fighting on. She's on LFA or Bellator? Bellator. Leah McCourt's fighting tonight. There's some pretty good fights tonight. I'll be tuning in.
Brett Johns is fighting on Bellator.
I'm gonna make some
some
popcorn.
Pop some popcorn. Nice.
All right. Let's should we get into this UFC card and break this down real quick?
Yeah.
Give our picks. You can give your DraftKings. Oh, love it.
About DraftKings.
Yeah, you better look at that. All right. Starting up the night, we have Damir Ismagulov against Rafael Alves. Damir is 22-1. He is 5'9" with a 74-inch reach, and he is fighting Alves, who is 19-9, 5'8" with a 68-inch reach. I don't even have to give this breakdown because the guy's from Kazakhstan, and he's going to win.
And I will do something.
Okay.
That I don't do often.
Okay.
I'm going to apologize to Rafael Alves.
Why?
This is the guy that missed weight by 2 weight classes and blamed it on the bad salmon. Do you remember him?
Yeah. Didn't he come out recently?
He just came out this week and said, no, it wasn't bad salmon. I was an emotional wreck because me and my wife just found out we just miscarried and we've been trying to get pregnant.
Okay.
And I'm going to get a little personal here.
Yeah.
Me and my wife have been through that. And not very many people like pretty much nobody knew when we were going through it. Nobody knew when we were going through it. And it was between Hunter and Quinn. So, I mean, we're talking, this is a long time ago. And it's hard. And one, I respect him for, kind of crapped on him for the salmon thing. But you know what? He was protecting his wife's feelings and their personal, their personal. He probably should have called the UFC, let them know what was going on and say, I'd like to withdraw for personal reasons. This is what happened. And then the UFC just says for personal reasons, he had to withdraw from the fight, like call a family emergency. So everybody can just well wishes. But beyond that, he doesn't know anybody an explanation of what happened and why.
Was he the one that was crying on the scale?
Yes.
Okay. I think we talked about it and I remember
you called it.
I think
you said there's got to be more to it.
Yeah.
And I was really hard on it. We forget sometimes these are real life human beings that go through real life problems. And for somebody to be like, oh, buck up and fight. It's like, if you've been through it, like it's hard, man. It's emotional and it's hard. And I feel for him and his wife. And I hope that, it sucks that they matched him up with this guy because I really wanted to see him come back and maybe he pulls off the upset of his life.
Maybe he pulls off upset.
And that would be awesome. I'm not betting on it, but maybe he does. But at the very least, I think he deserves an apology from a lot of people. And I'm definitely apologizing. And I am rooting for him in future success because, like you said, I'm okay with it. I get it.
Yeah, he's only a 6-1 underdog. No big deal.
Yeah, and they just feed him to this Kazakhstani monster. We're not even going to say who you got because
we already
both
know. You guys know.
And no, I'm not laying minus 600 on any fighter ever.
No. All right. Next up, we got Yancy Medeiros is fighting Damir Hadzovic, the Bosnian bomber. Medeiros is 15-7 record. He is 5'10" with a 75.5-inch reach. And our boy Damir is 13-6. He is 5'9" with a 70-inch reach. So a huge reach advantage for Yancy in this fight.
Yeah, and Yancy, he is on a losing streak. Lost that fight to Cerrone, lost to Gregor Gillespie, lost to Landau Veneta, he's not losing to bad guys.
No.
If you look before that, his only other losses are like Dustin Poirier, Francisco Trinaldo, Jim Miller. Like he kind of beats everybody that's not like really, really good.
Well, if you're looking at it, Demir's on a 2-fight losing streak as well.
He is.
He lost to Christos Gallegos and Renato Moicano. He hasn't fought in over a year either.
Yeah, and Moicano rear naked choked him in under a minute.
When's Yancey's last fight? Was a year ago as well, year and a half ago.
Yeah,
wow.
He's been off for a hot second. So
interesting.
I'm gonna take the value on this one and go with a slight underdog in Yancey Medeiros. I think he's good. He moved his camp. He used to train with the Diaz brothers. He stayed in Hawaii for this camp, training with Max Holloway to get ready for this fight.
I like it.
I mean, don't hate that. Greatest featherweight of all time.
I don't hate it. I like it. Matter of fact, I'm with you.
All right. We're both on the underdog Yancey Medeiros by decision for me. I think you see this fight go all 3 rounds. I think Yancey Medeiros wins a not dominant, but convincing decision. And you could get a little, he's a little plus money on that. I don't hate that.
I'll take it. I'll take the odds.
Yeah.
Next up, we got interesting one because David Vorak was supposed to fight Rulian Paiva, and he looks like he botched a weight. He had a bad weight cut, had to go to hospital, and stepping in on short notice was Juan Camilo Ronderos. And 4-0. He's fighting out of Las Vegas. Our boy Aleko knows who he is. Good friends with him.
Good.
I don't know if I like his chances against Vorak on 24-hour notice.
I don't even think you're going to get odds on this.
I don't think there is anything on there. Vorak is 19-3 record. He's 5'5" with a 68-inch reach. Ronderos 4-0 as a pro, 5'3". There's no reach listed on Tapology.
Yeah, there's no way I'm picking a guy on that short of notice.
Yeah. So we'll skip to that. We're both on Vorak on that.
Being a pro and being ready and just taking it and rock and rolling.
Well, he just guaranteed himself another fight, don't you think?
Yeah.
He guaranteed himself another fight. Regardless of what happens, we're going to see him again in the UFC.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Joshua Culibao against, oh man, I don't even want to say this guy's name. The Wolverine. We're just going to call him the Wolverine because that's his name. Culibao is 8-1-1, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. The Wolverine, 19-6, 5'8" with a 79-inch reach.
Who do you like?
Culibao is minus 260. China's on a losing streak. So
they did not show super well.
They have not shown super well.
On that Weili Zhang card, I think only one Chinese person. They went like 1-4 on that card or something.
This is Culibao. What did he do? He lost a year ago to Jalen Turner.
Had a split draw.
That was his UFC debut. This is the Wolverine's UFC debut on this one. I don't know much about either one of these guys, honestly.
I remember Culibao fighting Jordan when he fought Charles Jordan and got that draw. It was a good fight. I mean, that was just in October.
Oh yeah. I do remember that. Okay. I do remember that.
He was an underdog and I thought he looked good. I feel really good about Josh Culibao. And this is something that I could see being a good play at minus 250, 260 in a parlay.
It's minus 210 right now.
Oh,
unless it went up. Or 260. Yeah, you're right. 260.
Yeah.
Good little parlay piece.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got Victor Rodriguez against Bruno Silva. Rodriguez is coming in with a 7-3 record, 5'5" with a 67-inch reach. And our boy Bruno Silva, the Bulldog, 11-5-2 record, 5'4" with a 66-inch reach.
Bruno kicked my butt on his last time. I picked that
JB buys. Yeah.
Remember? And I was on the buys couple for that card and they both got smashed. I am interested to see Victor Rodriguez. He comes off that tough loss to Adrian Yanez, but one of our rules and commandments, he comes out of the Alaska fight scene. 0-1 in the UFC.
Silva We're all on Silva. I don't like laying.
I'm all on a Bruno Silva. Yeah, I mean not 425, but
yeah,
it's like I think Silva wins. I would say not even. He wins inside the distance. I'm not sure if it comes ground and pound or knocks him out, but I'm Silva
all over it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the next fight, which I already know your pick, but we're going to say it anyways. Claudio Silva versus our boy, the Crusher, Court McGee. Silva is 14-2, 5'11" with a 71-inch reach. The Crusher's 19-10, 5'11" with a 75.5-inch reach. Court,
let's give this the appropriate due. And I will give you some takes on this. Claudio Silva is a submission specialist, very high level jiu-jitsu, and that's how he wins a lot of his fights, is by submissions or getting in top position and kind of riding people out. He hasn't lost in a long time since his pro debut, lost to James Krause.
Yeah.
But guess what? For those who don't know this, Court McGee's never been submitted.
Yeah, I don't think he's submitting Court McGee.
And if you think that he's going to just get on top of Court McGee and McGee's not going to be able to get up either, I think you're severely mistaken. I might be biased on this, but I actually think this is one of the best values in the card. I think Court McGee would love to get that Diego Lima fight back, and the Carlos Conduit fight where he decided to show off his striking against Carlos Conduit. But Sean Brady's not a bad loss either. That guy's a monster. Sean Strickland, not a bad loss. Santiago Ponzinibbio. People could say whatever they want. Freaking Court McGee holds a win over Robert Whitaker, and a lot of good fighters. I know the road is coming to an end here for Court, but I think he goes out. If this is in fact his last fight in the UFC, I'm not sure if it is. I do think he gets a W in this. All unbiased aside, just stylistically matchup, Court's never been submitted. He's a monster on the ground, and if Silva game is to be on the ground, we all know high level jiu-jitsu can be shut down by heavy pressure wrestling, and that's exactly what Court the Crusher does.
That's exactly what he's going to bring to the table.
So
I like it.
Feel really good about it.
I'm all over it. I've already bet it. Locked it in. Next up, we have Ben Rothwell and Chris Barnett. Ben Rothwell's 38-13, 6'4" with an 80-inch reach, and Chris Barnett 21-6. He is 5'9" with no reach listed. He's making his UFC debut. Interesting.
Well, Chris Barnett, for those that don't know, he's kind of a regional, I don't know what to call him, folklore.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about him. I've been reading up a little bit about him.
He just kind of he's made a really good name for himself. Just goes anywhere, will fight anybody, anytime, anywhere type guy. As you can see, he's pretty overweight. He's not in great shape. Has super heavy hands. He's entertaining, but being 5'9" and a heavyweight in the UFC, Ben Rothwell is a giant human being. This is a short notice fight for Barnett as well. You got to remember that Ben Rothwell was originally scheduled to fight Askar Mozharov and Felipe Lins for this card. This is his third opponent, and it's just happened to be Chris Barnett finally getting a shot in the UFC, and I just don't see it going well. I do like Rothwell by decision.
Decision?
Yeah, I kind of do. I think that Rothwell, he hasn't looked great lately either, though.
No, he hasn't looked great at all.
I don't love it. I would never bet Ben Rothwell anymore, minus 375 against anybody. If anything, I'd love to put $10 on Chris Barnett just to have something to have to cheer
same
on.
Thing. I'm thinking the same thing.
Ben Rothwell wins, but at plus 300 heavyweight, it's like
at a heavyweight. I'll throw some money on it just to do it. I'm with you. I think my pick's Rothwell, but don't be surprised if you get a text and say, I just put $5 on freaking Barnett.
Yeah. Just have something fun to cheer for in the fight.
Yeah. We're such degenerates.
I'm responsible.
All right, next up. Ooh, this should be a banging card. This is starting off the main card too, isn't it? Is this next fight? Wow. Jack Hermanson and Edmund Shabazian. Jack Hermanson, 21-6, 6'1" with a 77.5-inch reach. Shabazian, 6'2" with a 74-inch reach. Both of these guys coming off an L. It's pretty much a coin flip. Hermanson's a -155, come back +130 on Shabazian. Excuse me. What do you like on this one?
I know you're really high on Edmund Shabazian on this.
I wouldn't say I'm high on him.
You picked it pretty early in the week.
I did pick it. I do like him. I think he's got more tools. He's younger. I think we're going to see a different version of him than we saw against the Derek Bronson.
Well, we just learned there's levels to this. He got a big win over Brad Tavares.
Big win.
And that's a big win because Brad's been a mainstay in that middleweight division for a long time. And he finished him, that's the tough out either, right? Izzy didn't even finish Brad Tavares. So I think that's where the hype really started with Shabazian. Yep. And then everybody kind of forgot about my boy Derek Brunson, that he's kind of a monster on the ground, and Kevin Holland learned that the hard way too. But you know who else is kind of a monster on the ground? Jack Hermanson,
the Joker.
The Joker's pretty slick on the ground too. And, he kill hooked Kevin Gastelum. He pretty much only loses to those top 5 guys, Cannonier and Vittori.
Yep.
Beat Jacare, beat David Branch, Gerald Mershot. He's lost to Thiago Santos, Cesar Ferreira. He kind of only loses to monsters. I kind of actually really like Jack Hermanson.
You really like him?
Not love, but here's the other thing. Shabazian, I just didn't love how hyped he got, and I just felt like his head got too big. Before I pick him again, I want to see where he's evolved and changed.
I don't hate it.
I just don't know if that's it. Jack Hermanson, I think he's a monster. He's a tough, scary dude, and he's a very, very good grappler. And I think he can exploit a lot of the deficiencies in Shabazian's game that Derek Brunson did. I don't think he's quite as good of a wrestler, but what he lacks in wrestling, he is a finisher on the ground, and his submissions are very good and very slick. Hermanson by submission is a super fun prop for me.
I'm banking on the fact that Shabazian's learned from that fight with Brunson, and I think we're going to see an improved version of him. And if we don't, I don't hate it.
Then you lose and I win, but either way, it's a coin flip. Either way,
it's a coin flip. Yeah. Next
That's our first one we've disagreed on.
We really did disagree on that.
There's a lot of favorites on the prelims.
Bill Algio against Ricardo Ramos. Algio's 6 foot tall. Man, he's 6 foot tall with 73.5-inch reach. That's crazy big for this weight class for featherweight. Ricardo Ramos, 14-3, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. Ricardo Ramos coming off of a loss. And our boy, Bill Algio, is coming off a win off your boy, Spike Carlisle.
I like Spike Carlisle. Bill Algio showed me something in that fight, and I actually really like Bill Algio. I'm taking him in this fight. I like Bill Algio. I think he's scrappy. He's good. We saw what kind of grit and toughness he showed in the Spike Carlisle fight.
Yeah.
And, he's just a slight favorite there, and I think he should be. And I just think he has enough tools to get this done.
Man, this is another one of those coin flip ones that I think I'm just going to disagree just to disagree with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I slightly leaning towards Algio, but I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take the odds. I did that last week and it paid off, so I'm gonna go Ricardo Ramos and take the odds on that one.
I'm not mad at it. I think it's a really close fight, but I just think Algio has enough tools.
Next up, we got Felicia Spencer against Norma Dumont. Felicia Spencer is 8-2 record, 5'6" with a 68-inch reach, and Dumont is 5-1 record, 5'7" with a 67-inch reach. What you thinking about, Zach? What you like on this one? Felicia Spencer just lost to Amanda Nunes about a year ago.
I don't like anything about this fight. How about that? Can I do that?
You can do that.
Can I take a pass?
I
What are they fighting for? It's not even a division.
I'm not going to say it. Never mind. That is interesting. I just watched the face-offs before we jumped on here, and I like the way Dumont looked. I think she looked good.
Dumont as an underdog?
I like Dumont as an underdog, man. A Spencer didn't look that good to me. I know this is a bigger weight class, but
Spencer doesn't usually look great.
I thought
I'm
Dumont,
not trying to body shame or be mean or anything, but
yeah, you are, Zach. Yeah, you are.
Shut up. No, Felicia Spencer, she's kind of just a more, what's the correct word? Sturdy girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, she's strong, and she has a lot of success until she's gotten to the highest level. And then she beat Megan Anderson and then lost to Chris Cyborg and then beat somebody named Zara Farin, who I've never heard of before, last February, and then got smashed by Amanda Nunes.
Yeah. It's one of those, why isn't this on the undercard card?
It's one of those, like, why is this even in the UFC? It's not even a real division anymore.
Yeah.
Call me when Kayla Harris signed.
Yes, please.
Call me.
Jeff just says you're canceled. Zach's canceled now. You're canceled.
Why? It's true.
So are you going Spencer? You go Spencer. I'm going Dumont. Is that what we're doing here?
Let's both go with Dumont. I like the underdog.
So we're taking the dog. The dog. Laying the money, baby. Let's do it. Let's win.
Going against the sturdy girl.
Next up, we got Justin Tafa against Jared Van Dura. Love Justin Tafa, man.
Nope. Remember,
4-2.
Posed this last time, and I said I'll never pick him again.
That's right.
Nope. I am going Jared Van Dura.
The Mountain. You're going to take the odds on that.
Yep. I think Justin Tafa sucks. How about that? No.
Tafa's 4-2, 6 foot tall, 74-inch reach.
I apologize. It's Jorgen De Castro sucks.
Yeah.
He one shot knocked out Tafa and gave us a false sense that Tafa was good. That's what it was. Right. But he's still kind of.
See, I
don't like this fight either.
I don't like it either. I don't
like it at all. Yeah, I'm taking Jared Van Dura. I'm taking the underdog in the heavyweights. That's what I'm doing.
I don't hate. I'm going with the Australian.
Oh, and I just tried to add Jared Van Dura on Facebook. So
get him on.
Jared Van Dura. I added you on Facebook and I picked you, and Jason's a putz and picked Justin.
Hey, if we get some on the podcast, I'll take him.
All right. I'll let him
All right. Next up, we got, I'm not even going to pronounce her last name, Juan against Carla Esparza. 9 is 13-1 record. She is 5'5" with a 63-inch reach. The Cookie Monster, 17-6, 5'1" with a 63-inch reach.
Number one contender fight.
Is this a striker versus grappler?
Yes.
Wrestler?
Yes.
Both look phenomenal at the weigh-ins. They both look really good.
Yes. Yes, they did.
And odds, you could flip a coin on this one too. What do you like? Do you like the striking or do you like the wrestling of Carla Esparza?
I actually do like Jan. I think China wins one here. I think she's I think that her takedown defense, I think she is going to be able to negate some of Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza, her striking is getting better and has gotten better. So she's not as one-dimensional as she used to be. She did get that split decision win over Marina Rodriguez, split decision win on Michelle Watterson, majority decision versus Alexa Grasso. Like, she's gotten, but, her 2 losses were like to other wrestlers. But winning 3 fights in a row off of a majority decision and then split, I'm like, you're telling me that this is a number 1 contender title and she's like winning these by one judge, by one, not even like a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Her last unanimous decision was against Jan DeRoba, who like doesn't know where she's looking because her eyes do that thing. Another comment to get canceled. I don't see Cookie Monster as elite in that division anymore. Now, the interesting thing is I would root for her to get the rematch with Rose because I think Rose deserves to get that one back. They're completely different fighters now.
Yeah, completely different fighters.
And I think they're saying this is a number 1 contender. Jan looks to me more like somebody that should be getting ready to challenge for a title and get in that mix with with Whaley and Joanna and Rose.
Yeah.
And Carla Esparza, like I just don't see her as an elite strawweight anymore. I just don't. I don't think she's elite anymore.
Biggest is this your lock of the night? Are you locking it in? No. Who's your lock of the night?
The main event.
Ooh. This is one that you and I have talked about. Usually we don't talk about it. We've discussed this one and are both on agreement. But
I feel really good about the main event.
Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt. Rob Font's
Time out. Who are you picking? Esparza or Jan?
Oh, Jan. I'm on Jan. I'm going China on this one.
You didn't say.
Sorry.
I didn't know.
I was putting my bet in on Jan already.
Oh, good call.
I locked it in already. Main event time. Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt. Rob Font's 18-4, 5'8" with a 71.5-inch reach. Cody Garbrandt's 12-3, 5'8" with a 65.5-inch reach. So a little bit of a reach advantage for Rob Font coming in here. Dead even, man. The odds are flip a coin on these two. I'm going to let you give the breakdown since I agreed with it, what you said, and I already know which way you're going, but we both agree that we see this fight going one way. And
ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to preface this by saying anything can happen in there. And if you are following betting advice from anybody that says that this fight is a lock or that this is a slam dunk or anything, and the betting line isn't like minus 2,200 like Cyborg or something like that, that's one thing. But when it's minus 110 and they're saying coin flip, anything can happen in there. How I see the fight, I cannot believe, no disrespect to Rob Font, I cannot believe Cody Garbrandt is a coin flip with Rob Font. Cody Garbrandt, you could argue, has the best boxing in the UFC.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's an argument. I think he has the fastest hands in the UFC.
I think that's,
What he did to Sun Sao, nobody does that to a Sun Sao. Nobody knocks out a Sun Sao.
Rob Font didn't do it.
Rob Font didn't do it.
Matter of fact, he lost to a Sun Sao.
I mean, and not the MMA math matters. I'm sure Rob
almost
Font's
3 years ago. Yeah,
Rob Font's a different fighter, and a Sun Sao's a different fighter, and timing and stuff like that. But to me, like Cody Garbrandt should be like minus 160 to minus 180 here. I think you're getting so much value. Former champ, okay? Somebody who's been in main events before, was in the main event and completely outclassed Dominic Cruz, who was on the tail end, but still at his peak in a championship fighter. Rob Font's never even been in Rob Font's experience being in a main event was being in Calvin Kattar's corner for Max Holloway. How'd that work out? Didn't. So I'm just saying, and I like Rob Font, and what he did to Marlon Moraes was super impressive. But let's be honest, Marlon hasn't been the same since Cejudo broke him mentally.
And if you go back and rewatch that fight, Marlon Moraes had his moments. He had a couple big takedowns. He had top position a couple times. Like this wasn't like Rob Font didn't just dominate him. He just caught him with a nice combination. I don't see him doing that to Cody Garbrandt. Unless we both talked about this and you brought this up. If Cody tries to turn this into like the old Cody, which we don't think he will, his lights are going to go out.
He for sure could get clipped. Because once he starts doing that, it's like not even a 50-50 because Rob Font does have the reach advantage and stuff. Like Rob will be able to really like get off if Cody starts getting too wild. But even Cody said, I'm a completely different person, completely different headspace. He goes, I didn't even enjoy fighting then. Like I've fallen back in love with fighting again. Like I'm working harder. I'm making myself uncomfortable. He's doing all these things. I think we are seeing a hungry version of Cody Garbrandt again. And last time he was this hungry, they put him against Tony Almeida, Thomas Almeida, thank you, who was undefeated at the time too. And Cody starched him. When Cody's right up here, and we just talked about it with Carson Hardman, it's all up here. He has all the physical tools. When he's right up here, I believe he's the best bantamweight on the planet.
I agree.
And I've been listening to his interviews. He seems dialed in. Now, maybe he's just saying all the right things and it's not the case, and then he's going to make me look like an idiot. That's fine. But when Rob Font's like, I'm going to frustrate him with his jab, you think Cody Garbrandt hasn't fought long guys with a jab?
Well, I mean, he's got a guy in his camp that's
Andre Feely's huge.
I think he's got, his reach advantage is almost 80 inches. He's got a huge reach.
You know, I no disrespect to Rob Font. He's really good, but I just have not seen anything from Rob Font to be like, wow, Rob Font is going to come out and outclass Cody Garbrandt. Because here's the thing. We're not sure where Rob Font's ceiling is, right? Great fighter. He's
33. He was about 34 years old too.
He's unarguably a, top 7-8 bantamweight in the world.
Yeah.
Cody's ceiling is the best. I don't know if Rob Font can ever get to be the best. Because I'm not taking Rob Font against Juan, Aljamain, Sandhagen, Dillashaw, any of those guys. But I know Cody can hang with those guys.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to take Cody. And I'm going to go one step further. I think Cody Garbrandt is the bantamweight champ by the end of next year. And I think Cody Garbrandt is the flyweight champ by the end of next year. I think Cody Garbrandt is champ by the end of 2022. I too. I like Cody. I'm all in on Cody right now. And watch, he's going to get starched. I'm going to be like,
starched. He's only 29, man.
He's
going to be 30 this year, but
his rise was so ridiculously fast.
He's a freak.
Here's the crazy thing. We talked about with Connor. You can't have two primes in this sport, right?
Yeah.
Cody is so young. He got to the top before he even got to his prime.
Yeah, I mean,
he got to the top, get knocked down. I think he could now be entering his prime.
I am in 100% agreement and already locked it in. I'm on Cody Garbrandt too. I went back and forth a little bit during the week, and then after rewatching the Rob Font's last fight and then rewatching the Sun Xiao fight with Cody Garbrandt, Garbrandt's faster. His boxing is he's better. I just think he's the all-around better fighter.
Agreed.
But like you said, the odds, it's a coin flip. Anything can happen.
Yeah, don't at me, bro.
Don't freaking yeah. You're never gonna hear it. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like always, I'm not saying it's a lock. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm just saying with the information that I have, I just don't see how Cody doesn't win this.
The value is on Cody Garbrandt. If you follow MMA,
questionably.
I mean, taking all bias aside, and you're looking at both of their careers,
unquestionably
younger, faster, better boxing. He's been in bigger fights.
State championship wrestler.
Played middle linebacker in high school.
All state.
Middle linebacker, all state. Like the guy's
he's an athlete.
Freak.
And like I say this all the time, athletes make plays. Like he's a freaking athlete, dude.
Yeah.
He's a freaking athlete.
You got they just announced Jose Aldo and Pedro Munoz fighting.
Bad fight for Pedro Munoz. I'm saying it right now. Aldo's looking good at 135. I'm kind of pissed they didn't make it with the Dominic Cruz fight, but because Aldo Cruz is what everybody wants to see. But Pedro Munoz, I think that's a horrible matchup for him.
Who gets? I mean, if Garbrandt wins this weekend, is the winner of this fight next in line?
No, I think the winner of TJ Sandhagen is.
Really? Mm-hmm. If Sandhagen wins, if TJ wins, I don't think he's up next. I think you got to give it to the winner of this fight.
I would like to see that happen. I don't think that happens. I think if TJ wins, he gets the. But you got to remember that Aljamain just got neck surgery. Like they might not even fight by the end of this year.
If you're Jan, do you take a fight or are you waiting?
I don't think anybody gives. Here, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Let Cody and TJ do let the winner of this fight and the winner of Sandhagen and Cody fight for an interim title. And then they get to wait for the winner of Aljamain and Jan to unify the belt.
I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
Anyways,
it's a fun night, man. It's a fun night of fights.
That's a lot of podcasting.
We've been podcasting for the last 3 hours, 2.5 hours.
I'm tired.
I'm gonna go take a nap before the fights start.
Oh, I'm gonna go do yard work.
Warriors and Grizzlies tonight. Who you got?
Warriors. Steph Curry.
Lines up to 5 now.
I'm rooting for the Grizzlies because that's who I want the Jazz to play in the first round, not the Warriors.
Yeah, Warriors have been on fire. Anyways, all right, we'll get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hey, while you're watching this, pay attention. Check out our new website to buy your apparel. Choke Dealer shirts. Boom.
Do damage shirts.
Damage shirts. We got hats on there.
We got practice safe set shirts on there. We got semi-pro exerciser shirts on. Go to the website. It's right there on the bottom, damage-plan.spiritsale.com. Check it out. We out.